We're often told the ego is the enemy, right? Something to be fought, suppressed, or overcome. But what if that's not the whole story? Today, we're diving into a really powerful idea from our source material, the concept that your very self isn't actually yours to own, but is a kind of profound cosmic trust. So our story starts on a scale that is just epic. The source presents this incredible verse about a trust so immense, so heavy, that the heavens, the earth, and even the mountains, the very symbols of strength and stability, they all refused it. They were afraid to bear it. And yet, humanity stepped up. We took it on. Wow. Right away, you have to ask, what on earth is this trust?
So let's get right into it and unpack this mystery. What is this monumental responsibility that humanity, and apparently only humanity, decided to accept?
And here's the big reveal. According to the source, this great trust, this amana, is our ego, our I-ness. It's not something we own like a car or a house. It's more like it's been given to us on loan, a sacred responsibility that we have to care for, manage, and ultimately answer for. But this is where it gets really wild. The verse goes on to describe humanity as wrongful and ignorant of what they were getting into. Isn't that an incredible paradox? The very creature that is inherently flawed, the one that doesn't fully grasp the stakes, is the one who bravely, or maybe foolishly, said, yeah, I'll do it. So, what happens when you give a being described as ignorant such a monumental trust? Well, it immediately creates this critical fork in the road. Our ego presents us with two fundamentally different paths, and the choice we make determines nothing less than our entire reality. Okay, so here's the crucial choice. We can build our identity on the negative parts of the ego, which the source says leads down a path of delusion and darkness, basically a path toward nothingness. Or we can build on the positive parts, the side that wants to connect with something real and lasting, which the source calls remaining in existence. The choice is completely ours. And this brings us to the real heart of the matter, the practical journey of how to honor this trust. The source lays out this powerful three-stage transformation that takes us from being trapped in the self to achieving a state of real transcendence. The journey begins right here with the raw, untamed ego. It's that constant, chaotic noise in our heads screaming, I, me, me, me. The source describes this stage as being so obsessed with yourself that you actually become proud of the ruins that this self-obsession creates around you. But wait, here's a stunning twist. The source claims that this loud, demanding I we think is so solid, it isn't even fundamentally real on its own. Its existence is described as hypothetical, not actual. Think about that for a second. It's not a solid foundation. It's just potential. Its reality depends entirely on what we do with it. So the next stage of the journey is this massive shift from I to we. This is where we actually start to honor the trust. We stop focusing on our individual dramas and start orienting ourselves toward the collective. This is the path that leads to unity, to solidarity, to actually building things up instead of tearing them down. And this slide perfectly illustrates the final stage. After moving from I to we, the journey culminates in the ultimate transcendence, he. Here, that sense of a separate self just dissolves. Your entire personality is rebuilt, but this time, it's in alignment with a higher reality, with the Creator. This is the ultimate fulfillment of the trust. So now, let's connect all the dots. How does this personal journey from I all the way to he make us truly trustworthy? How does it help us fulfill that promise made when even the mountains were too afraid? The destination of this whole journey is a profound realization, and it's summed up perfectly in this quote. The trustworthy person understands that all goodness flows from a divine source. Any evil, any corruption, any darkness, that comes from our own mismanagement of the self, of that trust we were given. It's a total shift in how you see responsibility and reality itself. So, what you should really take away from this is a clear three-step path. To be trustworthy, the source tells us to first quit the self-obsessed chant of I. Then, embrace the collective consciousness of we, and finally arrive at the ultimate devotion of he. And listen, the stakes here could not be higher. The source shares a chilling prophetic warning. When the trust is lost, then wait for the hour. This is interpreted to mean that when the world is empty of trustworthy individuals, people who have actually made this journey, it will no longer be a place fit for life. The very fate of the world is tied to our ability to honor this trust.
Which brings us to our final question, a thought for you to take with you. If your sense of I is not your possession, but a sacred responsibility placed in your care, how are you honoring it?